Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike.
Hello there, and welcome to the True Pop Culture 7 show. I'm your host, True Pop, here to laugh and think about pop culture stupidity. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this show. I've definitely been following Sheepsidian for a while now. He's a really funny guy, really cheerful to talk to. And yeah, we're a little bit light on news topics, but I guess it's because, it's only September. So my understanding is as soon as the strikes are over, um, there's going to be a whole lot of more reshuffling of schedules and things going back into production and whatnot. So that's going to be cheerful. Uh, Not really looking forward to them resuming, in all honesty.
Same.
Let them carry on.
I'm all for it. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Definitely.
This is like the most entertaining thing that you guys have done. Please. Continue.
Yeah. On the thumbnail of the show, I've done like handshake between two fire hands because I just that's my impression of it. Really, it's just like we're against the greedy corporation, but we want to make a deal with the greedy corporation. It's just
it's the weirdest thing to me. I couldn't fathom that. It's like, look,
Mm-hmm.
y'all have your fun. Keep me out of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Let's have a look at the chat here. Hey, it's been your afternoon. Hey, good to see you, sir. And that's Godzilla -1 profile picture there. So not bad. Interesting. Looks interesting. Trinoculus B. Good evening and afternoon. Good evening to you, sir. And Daft Muppet the Hungry. Hello there to you too. Okay, that's everyone in the chat. Sheep, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell people where they can find you and what you do, essentially.
I am the guy that is the community manager. Pretty much the excuse me, the bridge between the fans and the Rippaverse like team, the production team, the marketing team, all of those guys. I'm the go-to guy if everybody has questions. They're like, hey, so and so, this, that, and the other. I can either answer it, I can get the answer for you. It's when I'm not doing work for Eric July, then I'm working on my own thing, Fandemonium, writing and drawing my own manga, and that's
Nice.
fun. That's a lot of fun. Otherwise, I'm just pretty much just hanging around on certain aspects of social media, mainly like Twitter, Gilded, and some Reddit. Though I hate Reddit a lot. It should die. That's just me.
No one likes Reddit. No one.
Reddit, it's so bad.
Yeah, I occasionally share my like meme videos in there, but
I feel
never hang it out in a flat place. Just like throw there in there. It's just like, yeah, I have this.
It's like I can feel my blood cells explode when I open a page on Reddit. It's bad.
It's like people full of autism, but not the good kind, the kind of
Not
bad
the good
kind.
autism either, right? They can't even meme correctly. So it's like, it's that kind of autism where it's just like you feel bad and then you want to like quickly find a window to jump out of. It's not good.
I spread the look saying, "Oh, look, the true Black Camera girl."
That's my other moniker. Yeah, I am according to Wizards of the Coast, the Black Aragorn.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering cards as well, right? I think it was there.
Yeah, it was the Magic cards, and they
Oh, yeah.
they race swap. I think it was Aowen as well, even though her brother was still white, and some other characters. It was the weirdest thing.
We've got. Don't you like the site where all the life experts are? Well,
they might all be Canadian. I don't know. Could be.
Sheepsidian is a traitor to his people. Wow, uncalled for.
Yep. I am.
Galadriel also got. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Galadriel did. Yeah, I knew it was someone else. So it was Aragorn, Galadriel, and Eowyn. And I think Aylmer had like two different. I can't remember if it was Aylmer. It was someone else had like two different kind of like skin tones as well as weird. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if, I don't know, Gandalf the White was race swapped as well. Because why not?
He was. I just thought about it. He was Asian.
Okay.
They made him Asian.
Oh no, I'm sorry I asked. Like, I mean, as the name suggests, the Whites, Snow White as well. People don't seem to catch this stuff, really.
Right.
It's disappointing. What do you mean, his people? Nerds.
What do you mean, his people?
Nerds. Our people are nerds. All right. Jeez. I don't know what you're assuming there. All right. With introductions out the way, I say we get to the very first segment of the show, which is Sucked into Pop Culture.
And finally, the piece de resistance.
All right, so Sucked into Pop Culture, the segment of the show where we just waffle on about things we've consumed pop culture-wise. And I'm happy to say I have finished Name of the Wind. Shagsworth recommended it to me. I just asked a simple question on Twitter. Hey, what are the best books you've ever read? Because I've been slacking off reading. I've just been listening to audiobooks and podcasts all the time. But yeah, I do like to read, and I just to get into the groove, back into it. I read this, and yeah, I'm lying. I haven't finished it. I've got like 10, 20 pages left, but that's practically
pretty much virtually you finished it.
Yeah. And I gotta say, like, it was definitely beautifully written. But I gotta say, I did enjoy the beginning of it rather than the end. They have it's a fantasy book, right? So they have a dragon in there, of course, towards the end. And then you find out, oh, the dragon is a herbivore that eats teeth, and it has like kind of flat teeth. It does breathe fire, and I'm just like, that's kind of, I don't know. It just seems a little, I don't know. You had to throw in something for the last act, and you just threw in a dragon in there. I was enjoying the main character's adventure through university, him trying to find out secrets, even though he was kind of roadblocked and banned from the library, which he was trying to get to. I just thought, like, that's just like a filler element. All right, he's banned. He doesn't get into the library, even though he specifically went to the university to get to that library. So that's kind of annoying. But yeah, I definitely recommend the book. I'll probably read the second one, but I don't think the third one is coming out anytime soon. The third one is meant to be the final one, The Door of Stone or something like that. And yeah, this book was written in 2007. The second one,
That's recent,
2013. And the third one still hasn't come out. So we've got like another George R.R. Martin on our hands.
Yeah, potentially.
So, yeah, 10 years. I don't know how long George has been writing his book. But
it's been thousands of days. That's the best I can say.
I'm pretty sure that Rothing's got a countdown. And yeah, I'm just like, do I want to carry on reading this? Because it's not going to be finished. But
right.
I guess I'll take my time with it. Won't rush to the second one. I'll probably read something else. I've got Lord of the Rings on my shelf, sitting there, all 3 books in one. Never touched it. I think the last time I picked it up was I got up to like the Singing Trees, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And just slowly put it back into place. So I can't, guys, call myself a true nerd if I haven't read Lord of the Rings. And yeah, I've also watched Continental on the John Wick series spin-off, which is a
Okay.
prequel. It was okay, but I don't know, raises some questions because I guess I haven't thought of this before, but what happens if a ordinary person enters like the hotel and they pay like with regular money, not the coin shit? Are those people there obliged to like kick you out because this is criminals only, or is that normal person, in the know-how? Or I just it's you didn't think about that stuff kind of in the first John Wick movie, to be honest, and I think that should be kept that way. Logically speaking, I would say they wouldn't kick them out. Oh, we just normally serve you, because it'd be difficult to keep normal people out of there. But yeah, but overall, it's okay. I can't make too much of a judgment. It's just one episode. I've heard they did want to ban Mel Gibson from it because he's in there.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, so I like Mel Gibson though. He's a good actor, even though he's not been in too many movies. And yeah, I think those are the 2 main things I've watched. Sheep, what about you? What have you consumed pop culture?
Oh, I know. Recent. Well, I want to watch the Netflix One Piece series. There's been enough buzz about it where it's piqued my interest, and I do have an interest in anime, manga, whatnot. For those that can't tell, based on books behind me, a bunch of manga here and stuff like that's one of my primary things as far as like reading goes. It's like picture books, as I like to call them.
Yeah,
Been rereading Shaman King recently, since I got the full collection now.
Okay, nice.
That's my favorite anime of all time, favorite series, manga series of all time. So, until somebody can dethrone it, and it's been like, I think the first chapter released in 2001. I want to say somewhere around there. It's been over 20 years, and there's not been a single anime series that's like been better than Shaman King to me. So aside from rereading that, been reading through some other books. As far as I think it's actually the other book is in the bedroom that I was thinking of. Manga Theory in Practice. It's basically not a how-to guide, but more of a teaching, like a teaching experience, you can say, from the mangaka for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Nice.
So that's been fun to read through. The guy has a way of just writing that just keeps you enthralled and makes you want to read more of what he's doing and stuff like that. So aside from that, as far as what I've been watching, if it's not YouTube, then it's whatever Amarada and her mother are watching. So primarily NCIS reruns. That's fun.
Yeah, man.
And
you watch Friends as well and stuff like that?
Actually, no. They have taste. They have taste. I'll give them that. So they'll watch NCIS. They'll watch Criminal Minds, Bones, and other shows like that. I'm like, okay, cool. As long as it's not you're not putting on Big Bang Theory. You won't have to worry about me leaving the room immediately. And aside from that, I've been every now and then turning on my Switch and just playing a little bit of Pokemon.
The newest one.
Yeah, I just because I got these new turbo controllers that I have.
Okay.
So I just been money farming because they make it so difficult to get money in the game.
Yeah.
So I do that in the meantime, and I'm like, all right, I'll just wait for the next Dragon's Dogma to drop. And once that happens, I'm sorry guys, I'm probably going to be taking an indefinite break from drawing because Dragon's Dogma is my favorite video game of all time. and
Nice.
this is the sequel. I gotta play it. That's
Okay.
just me.
All right.
So
I
yeah,
mean,
that's pretty much what I've been doing for the most part.
yeah, with Dragon's Dogma, I have heard a lot of hype around it and saying like it's the best, mechanically speaking, game ever.
It is.
And yeah, I guess remains to be seen. I might get it if there's enough buzz around it. Right now, I'm playing a terrible game that you just reminded me of. Marvel's Avengers.
Why?
It it's
Why?
it's all right. Let me explain. All right,
Please
it's
do.
shutting. All right, not because I like it. All right, it's shutting down on the 30th of September. It's not going to be on sale. So right now it's available for £3 on Steam. You get everything, all the skins, all the DLCs and whatnot. I think you get the DLCs either way. So I bought it on Steam. I've never played it before. I've just, heard people talk about it. And I'm just like, is this game that bad? You know? Is it really that bad? Let me prove it. Let me play for the campaign. And it's been an adventure so far. I've been streaming it all the time, if any of you guys like to see it, it is available on the right now. Some of them are unlisted. The first stream is on the member side of things. And yeah, it's I like the elements of it, but there's some that just absolutely drag it down. Like, because I love storytelling. I love I would like to become a writer, and I like to dissect stories and whatnot.
Right.
And I just look at this, and there's some good performances in there. Bruce Banner feels like a Bruce Banner. Tony Stark is voiced by Nathan Drake. Fantastic voice, fantastic choice. Really suits the role. You've got all these Avengers that are really good. And then there's Miss Marvel. She's it's like someone's trying to shove in a circle in a square peg. She stands out that much. You know the saying of the world doesn't revolve around you. You usually say that to like kids and whatnot who are being over dramatic. Well, for Miss Marvel, the world literally does. Like, the story seems to revolve around her all the time. And every time she meets a new Avenger in the story, each Avenger gives her like a pep talk. They instantly like her. And it's like, oh, come on, please. Can someone just look? Can't one of the Avengers just say, look, kid, I know you have powers, but you can't get involved in this. You need to back off. Or no one says that to her. Not really. And there was this dilemma of, because she confronts MODOK like for the first time, and MODOK is like, I can take away your powers. Look at them; they're a curse. You didn't ask for your powers, and blah blah blah. But it's kind of like a false dilemma, because she has two choices. Go with MODOK, cure her powers, or warn the Avengers that something is fishy. But it's not really a dilemma, because she hasn't shown any regret or any fear towards her powers. She's not. It's not like she killed some people accidentally with her powers or anything like that. So there's no sense of dilemma. Oh, which choice do I take? So that if there is some struggle for her, it just feels artificial, and that's from the story side of things. The gameplay wise, I have problems too with Hulk. I like Hulk. All right. And from a lore perspective, if he punches someone, he punches them into the next country.
Right.
But if you just punch a little robot in there, it just takes like one fraction of the health bar. And to me, that's not right. It doesn't feel right. His punches shouldn't be that soft. I guess if I might understand it from a game's perspective, but I guess the way to do Hulk would be, okay, you're on a limited run as the Hulk and you're OP, and then you turn back into Bruce Banner. You could do it that way, I guess. But again, I'm a little disappointed with Hulk. Doesn't really feel too powerful.
I would say if they were to, he's thrown in the game to be a tank, and that's understandable. But like my thing about it, if they were to rework him, I would say something more along the lines of giving him like he still does like the standard kind of like strength damage that he normally would, but then there'd be that one, like he can use one of his abilities where he does go into like a more rager mode, I guess you can say. And then like he's picking up enemies and just throwing them into orbit. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. That'd make a little more sense. Now you're not doing that with like, obviously you're not doing that with a boss, because bosses are kind of like immune to that stuff. Cool. But like for grunts and whatnot, yeah, you should be able to get them out of there really quickly. It's like, yeah, I'm not a fan of that whole like this is their bar and they just basically damage sponges to the Hulk of all characters.
Exactly. And yeah, some of the characters feel weird. Like literally Black Widow has some sort of super move where she like pulls out a Darth Maul lightsaber thing staff and insta kills everyone with it, and it's just like, hang on, this is meant to be a spy, not a superpowered superhero.
Right.
So it definitely feels like the gameplay itself is not accurate to the characters themselves too much. And yeah, it does feel like Destiny in a way, kind of reskinned with, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but kind of disappointed. Especially with the performances of each Avengers. You could have told something good, and it's kind of it's got some potential in there, but it's disappointing because it's like tripping itself up, especially with Miss Marvel. And yeah, I feel sorry for the people that paid full price for this game, because yeah,
me and
you did.
I played. Yeah, I played online. There's actually, I don't know if the streams are still up on Twitch and on YouTube as well, but I played with Eric, Young Ripper, for those that don't know. I played with him. A couple of other people jumped in. One of our guys, Napa, he's good. And like we played pretty much all of the content that they dropped up to Black Panther. Or was it Black Panther? Or I think it was shortly after Black Panther is when we stopped playing, because it was just a bunch of the same stuff left and right. It was just like really uninteresting after a while.
Like if you fill out your skill tree, like what's left there to do?
That's when they decided to add in that other tree where it's like now you can give yourself like the small boost to like your crit rate and stuff like that. And it became stupid after a while. And the thing about it is like we actually theorized that stuff. Like we had conversations about it. Like it would have made more sense if they had like if they're gonna throw in Kamala Khan of all characters to be like
who's not an Avenger,
who's not an Avenger, by the way, to become like the circle or the center of the whole story. It would have been better if they took the Terrigen gas and then made it like something that affected some random NPC that would then become the created character that you can then build into whatever kind of like superhero you wanted them to be. And that would have sold far more units, and it would have kept the game alive for much longer if they instead went down that route instead of the route they did, which is we're just going to give everybody a bunch of like Marvel comics and like MCU skins and stuff like that. Now you can LARP at your favorite Avenger. I don't care about being my favorite Avenger. I want to be a created superhero that I want to be, who I then learn from, my favorite Avengers. That's far more interesting. Like Xenoverse did that, or Dragon Ball Xenoverse, did that, and it worked so much better. It had far longer of a lifetime. The game's still running online, by the way. So for people who want to play something that's actually good, or you create your own character and you do all these cool things and whatnot, go play Xenoverse. Stop playing Avengers. That's where I sit, at least. Crystal Dynamics shot themselves in the foot with that game. So
definitely. It's sad because like, well, I paid free quid for it. I get all the skins, every single one of them, and it's just like, man, okay. All I did was I had to wait for a couple of years, and then you guys tripped up. I'm kind of regretting my purchase, but not because the game is not that good, but because I bought it on Steam. Right. If I bought it on the PlayStation Store, I would have been able to play as Spider-Man. But from the gameplay I've seen, it's not worth it. So
Spider-Man is just basically Kamala Khan, but better, or like far better, to be honest. Like Like Kamala Khan, they tried to make her the the Spider-Man in the game. She's like swinging around and stuff. It's stupid. Spider-Man, like, yeah, he can do all the swinging around and wall crawling. He doesn't have. It'd be nice if they actually incorporated the spider sense into the game, and they don't.
They don't really.
Yeah, he just has like basically he's like a combination of Black Widow and Miss Marvel put together and just basically called Peter Parker. It's kind of lazy, and I personally hate it.
Definitely. Yeah. So I think I've only got like the last bit to go for the campaign, and then I'm just gonna let it go. I might do like a video on it, kind of watching the Titanic sink on the September 30th, just like saluting it there. Just
I was on the shores with binoculars. It was great.
Yeah. So it's like it's gonna become a relic now, not on sale for anymore, or not unavailable to buy anywhere. It's a shame because it did have some potential, but
it did. It had pretty good gameplay. I like the the gameplay they had for each character, where like you had action cancels and not necessarily rush downs, but you had like rush downs and stuff like that. You could do cool things with each character. And I played as every character. I think I maxed out all but like maybe 2 of them. Well, actually, if you're going to include Kate Bishop and Lady Thor and the other DLC characters, like if you're going to include them, then I played with maybe like all but 5 or 6 of them, something like that. But like the characters, they felt unique to each one. At least that was a start. So Hawkeye didn't feel like Black Widow, who didn't feel like Captain America, who didn't feel like Iron Man. It's like, all right, at least the characters are different, and you can build a team that functions to getting the job done. But they had the ball and they were running with it. They tripped. They stopped. They threw the ball to the other team. Decided to tie their shoes while the other team's scoring left and right, and then they just walked off the field. I don't know why they decided to quit. It was like this, and then it just dropped, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was game over for him.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I'm a single player I love the Guardians game. I can't remember the full title of it. And you were essentially
just called Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's just called Guardians of the Galaxy, and you had Star-Lord commanding the Guardians everywhere, and it was simple, but it's not a multiplayer. It can't keep making money after a certain point. It all just dies down eventually.
Right.
And I guess when this game was first releasing, I had no idea whether this was meant to be a multiplayer game or just a story game, because they were heavy on the story when it first marketing kind of dropped to it. Yeah, and I guess it's they went with the multiplayer route and they failed at it. And I guess my question is, okay, so you can't have 2 things at once.
Right.
You got to focus onto one or the other, and they focus on I guess they saw all the loot boxes, battlefronts, and whatnot, and stuff like that, and just decided to triple down on it.
One of the things that I've come to realize when it comes to any kind of if you're creating a product for people to enjoy, entertain themselves with and whatnot, is you have to first off know what your goal is as far as what product you're putting out and what audience you're trying to entice. If you're trying to impress everybody, you're going to impress almost nobody.
Yes.
Every time.
Oh, definitely. Deleo says Marvel Avengers highlights. Yeah. One of the funniest things that I did in that game was fall off a building as Miss Marvel, and I was just laughing my ass off because I had no idea you could do that. I thought the game would be I don't know, leading me to safety because it was so constricted, like so linear, and I just laughed my ass off when it let me throw myself off a building. Because there's certain cutscenes in a game where they don't let you be harmed, essentially, and then you get to the actual game portion of it, and then you can go down and whatnot.
Right.
Okay, so I guess we'll go on to the next segment, the news. Okay, so again, we are a little light on news, but there are some interesting bits and pieces. I don't know if you heard about this, Sheep, but it was initially reported, I don't know by who exactly, but that Miss, I can't remember the name of it, the Marvels,
The Marvels.
uh, it cost 120 million to make, and it was the cheapest MCU movie to date, and blah 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 blah.
Nope.
Turns out that was bullshit.
Oh yeah, no, I called that a mile away. It's like too much special effects for Marvel to be like, yeah, no, we're not obviously overpaying for stuff we don't need.
Definitely. I'm pretty sure there was a funny comment in Kay Sackhoff this once said this, that because she was in a Mandalorian show, right?
Right.
And she said, I'm pretty sure the Mandalorian's catering budget was the equivalent of Battlestar Galactica.
Jesus.
Uh,
That's a lot of money.
It's just like, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. Like, well, remember the time when we used to do like shows on the cheap of these, sci-fi shows? I don't know, Babylon 5 had like a shoe and a string budget.
Yeah.
And look how it's written. Like, if you do the story well, it'll be timeless. It'll gather a cult following, right? So the minimum you have to do is at least have a good script, and Marvel is not bothering that at all. There's just like, all right, next product. What do we need? Special effects, or an evil version of the main character, essentially, and so forth and so forth.
Right.
And it's getting to a point where it's, you know what? I'd take like an Ironmonger at this point, or like I don't know,
Eric Bana Hulk.
or Abomination. Like, at least those characters were somewhat, I don't know, able to fight with. It seems just like it's all over the place right now. Who's the villain? Kang? Who's he? Why should I care?
Yeah, like the villains back in the older like superhero movies, and even like other movies prior to that, like they were fun. Like they were interesting characters that were like, you want to, like, even Colin Farrell's Bullseye in the Daredevil movie was at least he was fun. He kept Daredevil on his toes. Whereas like these new movies, it's just like, joke. The heroes are gonna win because the heroes are heroes. And that's why it shook people up when Thanos won at the end of Infinity War. It's like, oh snap, he won. But people who read the comics are like, yeah.
And I despise Endgame for that, because they turned him into a freaking generic ass villain. It's just like, what are you doing? You had something with Infinity War, and now you blew it.
There was so much they could have done with that. Like, but hey, they wanted to again drop the ball on this one. You had you're in the last 10 yards. End zone is like 4 steps away, and you turn around and just huck the ball that way. You don't even fumble the ball. You just huck it back towards like the other team. Again, you go to tie your shoes. What are you doing? Y'all had dubs after dubs with like the original Avengers movies. The first the first 2, I guess. It's first 3 really. Civil War was good. Winter Soldier was good. Iron Man 2 is shaky, but Iron Man 3, that was like you had something structured and it made sense. And then they were just like, you know what, everything's just gonna become Joss Whedon and Taika Waititi.
They learned see, Joss Whedon. I laughed at his jokes because it wasn't that, but it's a bad replication of what he did. What he did was fine. Because he could balance the serious stuff with kind of the more jokey scenes. And
I'll give him Buffy and Angel
as well. Yeah. And They're just trying to copy that, but in a bad way.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm getting a sense of, and they can't seem to let go of it. Especially with Ant-Man and Quantumania, and yeah, I guess a lot of YouTubers, including the Neurotic, are looking forward to this movie, Miss Marvel.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Photon,
two sheds for the quartering. That's another another pool for for Jeremy. Everybody's gonna be making money off of this, but Marvel.
So 220 billion, double that is advertising. It's probably half a billion, at least, is what I'm imagining it needs to make. Maybe a little more than that. And I don't know, because Captain Marvel was positioned perfectly after Infinity War, before Endgame.
I think they're gonna actually. I'm in agreement with Ryan Kendall. Like Ryan's really in tune with like box office productions and whatnot, how much their budgets are and stuff. And he's saying that like the marketing isn't like they haven't like reported on everything. So like he's looking at it more of a projected like $320 million that they've been that they're burning through as far as like the production of this movie. Which means that they'd have to make like somewhere close to 650 at least.
I'm guessing they're gonna reshoot as well, the reshoot costs, because they always do reshoots.
Yeah.
It's why the VFX artists are trying to go for a union strike.
Right.
To be honest, I understand that circumstance completely. Marvel is notorious for treating their VFX people like shit. It's funny that they didn't do it under Victoria Alonso, but now she's gone. Oh, now we can strike. You know, why didn't you do that beforehand? But hey, who am I to judge? So yeah, Miss Marvel, I guess. Us YouTubers can't wait for it. Well,
yeah, y'all YouTubers. I make videos, but I haven't done videos. I only do videos on stuff I'm interested in, and this is one of those things. I'm like, I'm interested, but not enough to do more research. I'll just let everybody else get the money on this one. I got other things to focus on.
Yeah. So happy to see some of my tax contributions went towards the Marvels. Thanks, you kids.
Absolutely. Shout out to
y'all. Yeah, that's funny to think about, the Tyler Perry. Yeah, I can't wait for it. I suppose so.
It's gonna be great. The movie's gonna be absolutely boring. You're not gonna care about any of the characters. There's gonna be no stakes. But hey, we spent a lot of money on it.
See, my prediction was they're gonna have to pull off something hard, like throwing Galactus in there and Silver Surfer or some shit, just to get the ultimate nerds into it. It's gonna be, you know,
try.
You gotta pull them in that post-credit scene or something. But it doesn't seem like they're doing any of that. I mean, they might have some sort of post-credit scene, but I guess it's focused on the three Marvels. It's like, that's it. Do you really think these three characters are gonna draw people in?
Nope, because it's a character whose TV series is the second worst now, behind Secret Invasion, followed by someone who's more than likely got like almost every level of NPD, followed by someone who's irrelevant to a show that's now irrelevant.
Yeah. Hey, extra zero, hell chat, hell sheep, and true. TP7, funny, hilarious. I'm laughing my ass off. Yeah, because you see, they learned the right lessons from For the Dark World. It didn't make too much money. So what did they do with the third one? They got Hulk into it. You know, because people like Hulk, and then, you know, Hulk and Thor cameo. Oh, let's go see this movie. It looks fun. Now, the same lessons could be learned from Captain Marvel, but I guess they're just looking at it as just, oh, it made $1 billion. Oh, we're safe to make a sequel on this, you know, without needing any other characters. But that's kind of the wrong lesson to pull off. Shazam did the same thing. Like Shazam, the initial movie was risky, but it was fun. It was new content. Oh, this kid turned into a superhero. People checked it out.
Right.
But they didn't bring anyone for the second film. In fact, they even made up new villains. I'm pretty sure that they weren't in the comics.
The three sisters.
The three sisters.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah, no one remembers.
Well, the
Um,
thing, I think where they shot themselves in the foot,
mhm,
it's like a multi-layer thing with Shazam, where
mhm,
they took the main character Billy Batson, and they made Billy Batson more of a mature person or more of a mature character than they did Shazam, who showed up for like a majority of the movie in comparison to Billy. And
mhm,
Shazam was just pretty much he acted like a child the entire time. Meanwhile, Billy knew the stakes that were at hand. Like he was about to be pretty much like ushered out of the orphanage because of because of his age. And
mhm,
I think the girl's name was Mary, whichever one of the girl was, the brunette chick. She was saying like she'd been through the system, and she wanted
mhm,
to make sure he was going to be good and stuff like that. And then like a whole bunch of other stupid things happened in the meantime. And at the end of the movie, like Billy, spoilers for people who
mhm,
don't really care. Um, Billy sacrifices himself to basically finish off the last sister. Like
mhm.
the one of them
Right.
dies,
Yeah.
the
That's all.
second,
Yeah.
yeah, one of them dies. The youngest one, she ends up like defaulting. Like I think she lost her powers. Actually, she got them stolen
Mhm.
by the third sister, and then the third
Rachel
sister,
Zegler.
yeah, Rachel Zig. Yeah, that's right, her.
Mhm,
Snow White. Snow White got her powers taken, and she became
mhm.
more neurotic. Anyway, the
That's impossible.
it is really, it really is. But the third sister, she and Billy are in like this dome. Billy pretty much blows himself up to
Mhm,
kill the final sister, and then everything is entirely undone by a cameo, actually, of Wonder
mhm,
Woman, where she just shows up and is like, "Yeah, I got your letter. I'm here to bring
mhm.
you back to life." And it's like, well, there goes there goes the whole plot of the story. Why die if it means nothing?
Mhm.
Like that's pretty. I think that's where they shot themselves in the foot. Is like
Mhm.
nothing means anything anymore.
Yeah.
Like there are no consequences to like major actions, and I think that's one of the other reasons why so many people are turned off to these movies now. It's like, what are the
Yeah.
stakes? Who cares anymore?
I mean, imagine that if they just have the balls like, oh no, yeah, he's dead.
To leave a character dead, yeah,
Yeah. That'd be risky. Uh, I don't know. In my humble opinion, you should have gone The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, Black Adam in there. Would have sold all the money.
yeah.
Uh, Definitely made much more money. I don't know why they did it. It's obvious from the get go that you get Black Adam
Right.
against Shazam. It's obvious as night and day. I don't know what they were thinking with these three witches.
I don't know.
But
I
yeah.
also don't like that they made Shazam, not Shazam. I don't like that they made Black Adam an anti-hero because he never
Mhm.
was an anti-hero. He's always been a douchebag villain.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like this is the
Um,
same guy who killed his nephew to get those to get his powers.
mhm. Oh, definitely. And they probably didn't read into that too much. The
Mm-mm.
Rock can't play a bad guy.
Yeah, I think that's part of his contractual agreements is that he can't be the bad guy, or if at
Mhm,
least if he is a bad guy, he's like a charismatic
mhm,
one, like in Get Smart.
mhm.
Was
Uh,
what was her name? I think it was Anne Hathaway and Steve Carell were in that movie with him.
mhm. Speaking of DC, um, David S. Goyer recently went on some sort of podcast and he's spilled the beans on some stuff, a lot of stuff. Um, One of the more interesting topics is what he said on DC. There's a quote here that he said, I know the pressure we were getting from Warner Brothers, which was, we need our MCU, we need our MCU. And it was like, let's not run before we walk. The other thing that was difficult at the time was there was this revolving door of executives in Warner Brothers and DC. Every 18 months, someone new would come in. We're just getting whiplash. Every new person was like, we're going to get bigger. So that line says a lot because I don't think Man of Steel was meant to have any sequels or anything like that. To me, it just seemed like a standalone movie, to be honest.
Right.
Maybe like two or three. Okay, maybe a trilogy, but I don't think Man of Steel was ever meant to be a shared universe MCU kind of builder. It
Okay.
wasn't. It didn't really imply um, that
Any
other
universe.
superheroes are involved.
Yeah.
It just seemed it was really focused on Kryptonians and people of Earth, and it just seems like Kryptonians are the only real superpower in this universe, nothing
Right.
else. Kind of like its own thing. And with Iron Man, on the other hand, they didn't focus too much on the world. They just made a good movie, and then they teased Nick Fury towards the end.
Right.
And that just branched off into it like crazy. I really don't think Man of Steel was meant to build anything really. I don't think that was the initial plan, and that's what I'm getting from this quote. Is
I
they
agree.
tried to morph it into something that it wasn't necessarily.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's like the thing about it is like if people are being objective, there was no actual sequel to Man of Steel. There was like they were like, okay, well, they have like Christopher Nolan's done his Batman movies, and those are its own thing before Henry Cavill became Superman. So then Cavill becomes Superman. People are like, oh, we're getting Ben Affleck as Batman. They could have done a Batman movie that would have then possibly that could have then tied the two movies together, and that'd have been fine. But the way that it was set up, it was like, all right, well, we're gonna go ahead and take this scene of Superman throwing Zod through skyscrapers and stuff like that, and then say that Batman now has a grudge against Superman, which doesn't happen like immediately. Like Batman and Superman don't like start beefing with each other until like far into their friendship. So basically what they were doing is like with Dawn of Justice, they were like, all right, well, this is going to be the movie that's going to set up our DC extended universe, our DCEU, if you will. And then they brought in Wonder Woman, who had no purpose in the movie at all, and Batman, who wasn't there when Superman fought Doomsday, which Doomsday could have been its own separate movie. That could have been, the trilogy that would have wrapped it up. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, where are we going from here? And then you start up Dawn of Justice. That would have been a better lead-in, but because they got too greedy, they decided to throw everything into one movie. And they're like, all right, well, we're going to make a Batman versus Superman movie that's not exactly tied to any specific character.
Yeah. Batman versus Superman and Death of Superman. It's just like, those are two very different stories. What the hell are you doing? And killing off Superman in your second movie is just like, what are you thinking?
It was a fool's move from my personal like I guess stance. Like it would have been smarter for them if they wanted to establish a Justice League to get like like two Superman movies in. They could have started up like a Batman movie, got the first Wonder Woman movie out, and then they hint at like in that first Wonder Woman movie where she has her conversation with Batman, where Bruce is talking about like having ties with Amanda Waller or something like that, would have led in the Suicide Squad. Cool. But then like somewhere in that there's like a screen or something like that shows like that shows I don't know some guy like dashing across the screen really quickly, and it's like, oh, the Flash. That lets people go, oh, okay, well, they got some stuff in the works. And then in 2020, like what the first Batman vs Superman was like 2015. If that's when they would have like established all of that, like that movie would have happened, I would have said the first Justice League movie could have been 2024. Like, give it time to breathe. Like that's kind of what they started with Marvel, but Marvel, I would say they played their hand too quickly as well.
Oh,
they just happened that like the Infinity War was like that was a flash in the pan, basically. I don't think they're gonna do that again. Like with this new iteration, the Kang Dynasty or whatever. Like people don't allow nowadays, they don't allow their stories to just unfold naturally. They have to rush things to try to get people as caught up to speed as possible and net in as much money as possible. Like there's no patience anymore.
Yeah, like this multiverse shit. Like I still have no idea as like how does this multiverse even work?
They don't know either.
And we're going to get a movie about the universe with Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. Like we're not too far. Well, we wouldn't have been too far away from them if it weren't for the delays. But
yeah,
I don't. Even if they did come out in time, I don't think they would have made any sense whatsoever because we still don't know exactly how it works and why this Kang guy is exactly after. Why is he doing what he's doing? With Thanos, it was simple. Even though his ideology is wacky, he had conviction. He believed it to be true.
Yeah, the clear goal.
That was And with Kang, it's just like,
Who is this guy?
so you conquer, I guess, because Kang. They don't even have the title of the Conqueror as well. They just call him Kang.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
just
he's
all
just
stupid.
Kang, and then they shot themselves in the foot again with the Kang's thing. It was like,
Mhm.
okay, well, we killed Kang in Quantum Mania, but you find out there's multiple Kangs in Loki, and Loki happened before Quantum Mania. And it's like, well, you just killed off one of the billions of threats that already exist of like clones of, I don't know. It's stupid stuff. Nobody knows who the hell Kang is, and nobody cares. Nobody knows who these new characters are that are going to be the Avengers, and no one cares because you killed off all the good ones. You're like, Iron Man dead, Captain America retired, Thor is off doing something completely else. Fucking Black Widow's dead. Hawkeye has fucked off. He's basically left the Avengers at this point. So I mean, you got nothing. You're basically starting from scratch and saying, "Hey guys, still the same old Marvel." No, it's not. No, it's not.
Definitely not. And it's by asking, hey, how you doing, mate? Will the Marvels make as much as Blue Beetle, 120 or even less?
I think it'll do more than Blue Beetle, personally.
Yeah, me too. No one knows who Blue Beetle is.
Precisely, like
there's some knowledge.
like
But
the three characters in the Marvels, Kamala,
Photon.
Carol, yeah, Kamala, Carol, and Monica Rambeau. They at least have some standing in the MCU. Nobody cared about Blue Beetle, and especially nobody cared about Jaime Reyes, despite the fact that, like, he's kind of been the Blue Beetle for probably the better half of a decade, a little over a decade now, somewhere around there. There are some people that know Blue Beetle, but if you don't know Blue Beetle, you don't care about Blue Beetle at all.
Yeah. 1,000 Kangs with 1,000 reasons to do things is a mess. How do we handle the Council of Kangs? Yeah. Like, and each one of those Kangs can time travel to any place, anytime. That just seems like you're inviting an absolute mess and an absolute clusterfuck. I don't know. I remember the time. I love the show. Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the animated show. I love it.
Early 2000s, yeah.
And yeah, it kind of portrayed him as more of a. So he was from the future.
Right.
His civilization was about to collapse, and in this emergency thing, he teleported to our time, and because of that, he can't teleport too much in time. So there's limits on him. He can't go back to his future, and I don't know if it's his wife or something. She's like frozen in time as well, and he's trying to find a solution. And he thinks the Avengers. He's looking like through all these historical events, and he thinks the Avengers are a big problem as to why he can't get back to his time. And limits like that, of Kang looking through history, of this being like this historian almost.
Right.
I do like that interpretation, and I think it gives him some sort of character as well. And in the movies, I have no freaking idea who this guy is. Still.
He's a guy that slept with the Wasp. That's it.
Yeah. That's stupid. That really is stupid. But yeah, I guess we have to wrap our hands around this. Another thing David S. Goyer talked about was a Guillermo del Toro Star Wars project. And Guillermo del Toro was then asked, like, hey, dude, were you doing a Star Wars project? And he was like, oh, yeah, sure thing. And he said it was going to be about Jabba the Hutt and its rise to power.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I'm interested in stories. It's like, Space Scarface. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And my initial reaction to this piece of news as to Lucasfilm's actions, I'm just hearing another creative gone, and I'm just like looking at this, screaming,
Why?
I love that clip. I really do. I love it to pieces. And it just reminded me as well that you can get it at the emoji if you join the memberships in the channel below. I did recently add a J. Jonah Jameson laugh as well. That's that's just classic. So yeah, I did add those emojis, so you guys can check it out if you like to, and you'll have access to some of my gaming streams and me being in general pain of playing Marvel's Avengers. Yeah, I'll be playing much more. I think I'll be playing God of War Ragnarok and Spider-Man 2. Can't wait for that. I have a love and hate relationship with those games, but yeah. Anyway, going back to the Guillermo del Toro, there was a list of somewhere of all these creators of. I'm pretty sure there was Gareth Edwards with Rogue One. He filmed it, but towards the end, they did some reshoots, and he was not involved in those reshoots whatsoever. You've got Benioff and Weiss, who are fired from not just one movie, an entire trilogy. You've got James Mangold and Josh Trank, who were trying to do, like, I think it was first Josh Trank, then it was James Mangold, trying to do a Boba Fett movie. Then got turned into a show, and look at how that turned out. Then you had Colvin Trevorrow. I can't pronounce his name.
Colin Trevorrow.
Yes, and he was meant to do the third Rise of Skywalker movie. But they just got JJ back for that. And then there's Rian Johnson's Mystical Trilogy.
How's that trilogy coming along there, Ryan?
Can't wait for it, Ryan. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. So yeah, there's all these fired directors, and this Guillermo del Toro news. This was before The Last Jedi, so there were problems already within Lucasfilm of these firings, and it just pinpoints to an absolute clusterfuck behind the scenes. I would have liked to have gotten this movie, to be honest. I would have liked to got anything creative, like Jabba movie. Sure, why not? Do it. I'm open to some ideas.
Something that's not tied to Vader, please. That'd be great.
Something that's I don't know, exciting in a way, because I still think you could do probably like a cool series maybe after the original trilogy about Luke, or about I don't know, maybe some kind of show about Vader or something like that. I just don't trust them to do it at all, because right now what we'd be getting, like, computerized Luke Skywalker and shows that were the equivalent of old Disney Plus shows. I don't think they know how to make TV, like, at all.
The sad part is they do have the potential, because, like, you look at Cassian Andor, for example. Like, people like that show. It just flew under the radar because people had checked out of Star Wars at that point. And you look at Cal Kestis as well with the Fallen Order.
Well, that's because people don't, like, I don't know, Kathleen and her goons don't pay attention to that stuff, you know?
Right.
Oh, like, what's this? Just Last Survivor, some Andor series? Yeah, sure. Whatever, do your thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. Who's better than Luke? Fucking who cares? Can you just write a good story, please?
Definitely. Dude, I was so hyped for the Kenobi show. Like, I know the prequels went well, but I love the Clone Wars. I love the Clone Wars show and the animated movies and all stuff like that. And I was like, okay, you can literally tell a kind of a Western kind of story with this of Obi-Wan reflecting on his actions. No, they never went with anything creative like that. The
sad part about it is, like, they could have had the Hayden Christensen like cameos and flashbacks and stuff like that. But me personally, I knew that the series was dead on arrival when they announced that, it's going to be a series that takes place in between between Order 66 and A New Hope. And I'm sitting there like, you do know there's a 19-year gap where the two main characters of that of your series you're writing don't see each other. So that shouldn't have happened. Not to mention, Obi-Wan shouldn't have had any conversations with Leia. If anything, his conversation should have been between him and Bail Organa, because Bail Organa was the one that was there, him and his wife, when Luke and Leia were first born, and when he got them off the planet to Alderaan. And, like, it's possible to write a story where Obi-Wan, he takes actions throughout the entire series and he starts to like regret himself letting Anakin fall to the dark side and stuff like that. That he just pieces out like Yoda did. Like they could have done something good and people would have like accepted it and were like, it would have been okay, I guess you could say. Okay to pretty good. But they can't help but shoot themselves in the foot and make child Leia smarter than Obi-Wan.
Mm.
Anakin like some cameo that shows up that now has to be attacked by what's the chick's name? Reva, who's just like
no one's gonna remember.
A sister that like one of the sisters that doesn't exist. They're just like, you know what? Now she's gonna become one, which makes no sense because you can't be, the rule of two exists. You can't be a Sith and an apprentice. There's only two of you. So technically she should be dead or not exist at all. Or just be an asshole who's not joined the Empire. And like they don't know what they're doing, basically.
Yeah. I'm not sure if the Inquisitors count necessarily as Sith. I think they're just like a unit to.
No, not really.
They shouldn't have
one's
force
weird.
powers. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
Like, because that goes against like, okay, are they technically Sith or not? And shows like Rebels don't want to answer that really. I'm pretty sure they were like discounted after like sometimes. Like they weren't always a thing. They were disbanded. I'm pretty sure. Then again, to have stuff like that, you need to explain it well, which they don't bother with. Really, they don't bother with details. And yeah, I just, to be honest, Kenobi was a nail in the coffin for me. I was looking forward to that, but I guess I should have seen the writing on the wall as soon as it's going to be a Disney Plus series. Yeah, because it was meant to be a movie at first,
right?
And now
it would have served pretty good as a movie. It would serve better as a movie, to be honest.
Definitely. So yeah, another Star Wars project biting the dust.
The dust.
A corrupted IP referencing itself is a hard pass for me. Yeah, definitely. Imagine the alien creature designs we'd get at the film not going ahead. Yeah, Guillermo would probably think of some crazy ass alien.
This motherfucker came up with. Well, he didn't come up with Abe Sapien, but like the designs he came up with for Abe Sapien were like phenomenal, and the Shape of Water. It's like the man has creative talent. He's got talent to make something that's probably just as believable as what George Lucas did. And they're just like, nah, we're gonna go with this instead.
Yeah.
Bad choice. Like, look what you did. Now Mandalorian sucks too. Good job.
Yeah. And going back to the biggest piece of news, well, depends how you see it as biggest. It's the WGA and studio set suddenly meeting with deal not finalized yet. Okay, so they still haven't finalized it yet, but I'm pretty sure maybe a couple of hours after this show they'll just say, okay, yeah, the deal is done. Blah blah blah. I'm sure the armpit, AMTP, whatever the name is.
Armpit.
I'll just call them armpit for sure.
I'm predicting that they'll come to a deal like in October.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they'll come to terms or something like as quickly as a lot of people are saying. I'm thinking somewhere in the middle of October.
Because see, my thinking was they'd make a deal with the actors first, because they can make do without the writers, really.
Yeah.
But they need those actors. Those are
the faces.
Important. Yeah. You can't film anything without actors, like with
The crown
writers.
jewels.
Yeah. So it's surprising to me that they're doing it with the Writers Guild. I guess maybe it's some kind of obligation, like you have to make a deal with whoever strikes first. I don't know how it works. Unions are, I don't know. They seem a little stupid to me. I don't know. It's all just seems.
The writer's strike is stupid overall. Personally, I'm not. I don't care for unions. Unions are stupid. I don't care for protesting. Protesting is stupid. So ultimately, it's just a bunch of people who are just marching up and down the street on food that they're not paying for, mad at companies that they struck the deal with in the first place. Like you agreed to the terms. That's on you. Like you can't be mad because you ask somebody to chop off your leg and then they actually do it. Like
Mm.
you, the thing with the WGA and this, like,
Mhm.
you know, them beefing with themselves is
Mhm.
this is gonna happen at some point. I personally, I would have preferred it happened like during COVID.
Yeah.
I'd have been happy if it happened then because then they definitely gone. But
Yeah.
this is just them prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Robert Bryman said that in the film industry, you get what you negotiate.
Yep.
And I guess the writers kind of didn't realize that until now. Yeah, apparently this is Armpit's final offer. They're not going to make any more. The WG, they're just looking at that line behind them, you know, and the days they've been striking, it's like, it's not what we
Yeah.
wanted, but we'll take it. You know, I think it's that kind of situation. It's that kind of cope. I've just seen all the other news reports behind it. It's just like still furiously in support of the writers' strike. Like for me, I'm not interested in both parties. You know, they can all screw themselves. They've been doing that good of a job.
Mhm.
So if it were me, strike a little longer, guys. You know, that Devil show is looking atrocious. You know, strike maybe a little longer. Just delay it that, but a bit more. Yeah. I don't have much to say about it because
It's
it's so
sad
stupid.
because, like, I understand these people have, like, they have a different sense of living wages in comparison
Mhm.
to, you know, others because they're in California primarily. So like their cost of living is far higher than a lot of others, like, you know, New
Mm.
York. Well, New York is probably up there as well, but like, you know, California in comparison to like Ohio has a higher standard of living. So I can understand where that whole, like, you know, like cost difference uh exists and whatnot. These motherfuckers are still making thousands of dollars. Not
Mhm.
just like, not just like a measly ass, like, you know, average 52,000 a year that you would make in America for, like, you know, your average 9 to 5er. These people are making like easy like 120, $130,000 salary. And they're sitting there complaining about their negotiation. It's like, it's just move somewhere cheaper. Move somewhere cheaper and just do
Mhm.
distant. You don't necessarily have to be in the studio to do
Mhm.
like a lot of like the effects and stuff that they do nowadays. Like if you're doing like sound design, you don't need to be in the studio. You can move to like Wisconsin, get your own place and pimp that son of a bitch out and get your own, like, you know, your own recording studio and stuff like that. Get all of that set up as opposed to living specifically in the heart of Tinseltown. It's stupid. You don't have to
Mhm.
do all that stuff. Like you choose to live well above your means,
Mhm.
and then you get mad when, you know, the rug is pulled from under you. You didn't have your parachute. That's on you. Who are you mad at? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like you've been writing all this shit. I think they expected more support from I don't know, the outside world, I guess.
Now, don't care. Nobody cares.
Exactly. No one cares. Like you have been writing all this
Oh
shit and you
boy.
expect people to support you? Like really?
Oh
After
man.
shit after all
Eh,
the COVID entertainment you've given us, you expect to
primarily, like,
just
and
care
the
about
thing is, like,
Hollywood people. It's just what?
what was it? They are essential. That's what the word was. Like
Mhm.
they Hollywood was deemed as essential work during the lockdowns and stuff like that. Despite the fact that they closed down a bunch of theaters, so you couldn't go see the movies and whatnot in theaters. Hollywood and actors and actor gigs and whatnot, those are all decided to be essential work, which is stupid. Meanwhile, like, you know, you got truckers who can't get their job done, which are those are essential workers. Farmers, essential workers. Like a lot of labor workers are essential work. You shut down all the stuff that matters and kept alive everything that doesn't. Ultimately, like that's kind of what you get for putting your hands into, or putting your life into the hands of people who ultimately care about their bottom dollar over your livelihood. Like that's what it boils down to. Again, you can't be mad at anybody else but yourself for these situations.
Definitely. I guess I'm not going to be surprised. There's going to be an update on this tomorrow. It just seems like slowly coming towards the end. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe October is more so when the strikes are going to die down completely. Definitely. If they're making a deal with the writers now, then probably the actors one is going to take a while as well.
Personally,
Yeah,
I'd be
I
fine with
guess-
them, and I'd be fine with them ending the strike when
Mhm.
all of them are jobless. That's just me.
Yeah. It is a chance for Hollywood to do like a purge of bad writers.
Probably,
It's an
yeah.
opportunity, get rid of those civil writers because they can't write. Listen, those that want to write will stay,
Will-
right? And those who are in the queues, they'll just, what, we'll find another job. That's probably what you should do, because for the past couple of years, the writing quality
Oh yeah, no, it's
absolutely
gone.
atrocious.
It's
Yeah.
gone. That's one of the reasons why I was in support of Drew Barrymore and Bill Maher when they first decided, you know what? Well, Drew Barrymore primarily was like, I'm
Mhm.
despite the fact the strikes are going on and stuff like that, I still have a show to run, and I have writers that want to keep working and making money and stuff like that. And then, then she decided to capitulate to the mob, and now her show's not going on, and everybody else who decided they wanted to step up at the same time that she did or shortly after she did, because she wanted to be like, the martyr to it all. She went down, then they all said, you know what, we'll stay in line too. Sorry. It's like, come on now. That's on y'all. Like, I'll give you credit, Drew, for stepping up, but then I take that credit back because you didn't stick to your guns. You should have stuck to your guns.
Definitely. Yeah, and on that note, we'll be moving on to the Pitch Me a Story segment. All right, so the infamous Pitch Me a Story segment, the segment of the show where we pitch short stories and we use some wheels to decide what the story is going to be about. First one is the genre wheel. Do you want to start off with, or should I?
I'll let you lead so I can understand what's going on.
All right. So, we'll be pitching each other's short stories. Imagine, if you will, that we're pitching it to, I don't know, some big company, maybe Disney or something, and you're doing like a short pitch just to sell them the movie. You can cast actors if you like, or do any of the story and whatnot, but it has to fit into these little categories of each wheel. So my genre of my story is okay, it's a crime. Interesting. And my franchise is, let's see here, Harry Potter.
Oh man,
I know next to nothing about Harry Potter.
nice. I'm
Well,
slightly inclined to all of those.
listen. This is how writers actually decide on what IP. This is how they actually write, because you've got some writers that are completely unfamiliar with the IP. So it wouldn't surprise me if they actually spin a wheel and then decide to write these things. So here we have a very special wheel. It's called the ESG wheel. It has some mandatory elements to it. We've got anti-capitalist, so it has to be full-on socialist. Capitalism is bad. Drilling oil is bad. Everything of that sort is terrible. We've got environmentalism, so don't cut down the trees, don't pollute, blah 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 blah. And we've got fat body positivity. That one I've noticed is not that common in movies. It is very common in advertisements, but I
Right.
threw it in there anyway, just for the brownie points. And we've got our classics. You can never go wrong: feminism and racism. I'm pretty sure I'm missing one. Sometimes I add in LGBT, I think. Yeah, let's go with that. It needs a
That's
6
fair.
for me. It looks uneven. LGBT. Teen drama.
Oh
Uh,
Lord. Oh God.
Oh, it's in blue. It should. It's gonna be distracting. Oh well. Okay. So my ESG category is.
Oh, look at that. That's money.
Yeah, feminism. All right, that's interesting. Okay, so I'll be spinning the wheel for you, each of the 3 wheels,
Okay.
and then I'll play like a countdown with some music, and then we'll pitch the stories. You know,
Alright.
I think it's like 3 minutes should be fine. Of us writing stuff down. Okay, so let me just write that. So I've got crime. I've got crime. What was the other one? Harry Potter.
Crime, Harry Potter, and feminism.
Perfect. Just writes itself. And feminism. All right. Right. Sheep. Your story is. Dun, 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 dun. Let me play some music.
Crime as well.
Oh, crime as well. Is the genre wheel assuming or anything? I'm guessing not. Hope not. I mean, not that you'd be familiar with any of that stuff, but you know.
I couldn't tell you.
All right. Your franchise is.
Easy.
Pokemon.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Interesting. All right. And your ESG category is. Oh, feminism as well. All right.
Alright.
Well, gee, Wally, let's both get our. I can't remember what the hat's called. The pink ones. We
Oh,
should get, like,
pussy
matching
hats.
ones.
Get some
Wait.
matching pussy hats.
Yeah. We're getting like a pussy hat extravaganza here. All right, I get it. All right. So, with that, I'm going to play the countdown. Let me find it here. There we go. So I'll set it to about 3 minutes. Should be fine. All right. And off to writing. I don't know. I don't know too much about. Got to leave soon, but I dropped a meme in the thread. Oh, cheers! Thanks, A Serious. I'll check that out. We'll share that after the picture and story segments. Okay, so I don't know much about Harry Potter. I've read some of the books. I'm guessing you're very familiar with Pokemon.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you got a lucky category. Alright, crime. I only remember one name. Oh, this is terrible. I guess this is how actual writers write, not knowing anything about the source material. Okay. Choose a book. Okay. Prejudice. Okay, hang on. I've got something here. Time travel. Yeah, I guess there was that time travel thing. Okay, I think I have something here. How much time? There's 1 minute left. 1 minute. All right. Net zero anti-human. Oh, okay. I see how it is. Then use that pitch for a query for ChatGPT. I see. I see. Trinoculus speed. All right. All right. We got Sir Clueless. Howdy. Howdy there. Film threat song. It might be the film threat song. I'm not sure. Okay. The boys are dominating. All right, we've got 40 seconds. Okay, I think mine's okay. Let's go now. I guess we could name it. Oh, but... Aurelius McCracken, good to see you in the chat, mate. Cheers. Thanks for stopping by. All right, 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Okay then. Would you like me to pitch you my story? I don't have a title for it, unfortunately, but obviously, I only remember the one name of Harry Potter, Hermione, purely because it's Emma Watson, and I had a crush on her as a kid. So there's that. So that's the only character name I can remember. And yeah, so it's gonna be a short movie about her, right? And she's realizing that the male students get all the good grades, all right? They're working hard, and there's not that many female students in the university, it's mainly skewing off male students wanting to be the wizard, and so she does some reading and discovers that she can time travel, of all things, and but it's going to be quite difficult to get in a very secure wizard castle. So she assembles a Ocean's 11 style squad and steals the watch. That's going to be like the highest element of it. Of all these different tricks of stealing that watch. And what does she use it for? She could save the human race. She could, I don't know, solve world hunger, world peace, whatever. What does she do with it? She studies to be better than the boys. Yeah, and then the boys, out of revenge and out of spite, decide to become transgender and join because now the female squads are dominating with the time travel device in their studies. So this time the boys turn transgender and they're dominating now with them as well. So in the end, it wasn't worth stealing anything. And the end.
Damn.
Yeah. I was heavily inspired by real life events. I had no bone of creativity in there. I just threw all current stuff in there and, just made it happen. Yeah, obviously Emma Watson's returning. I don't know who else. I guess we could include like Sandra Bullock and her squad of Ocean 11s in there, throw them in there too. I mean, people enjoyed that movie, right? Surely.
Or Ocean's 8. Best movie ever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking, heist and feminist. What was the one movie that actually tried that? And it's just that movie. Yes, Trinoculus speed for modern audiences. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. All right, Sheep. So, how do you rate it? Do you think Warner Brothers would take it?
Yes, absolutely.
All right,
I think Warner Brothers would take it, unironically, if I'd pay to see that movie. That sounds like it'd be a complete shit show.
I can actually see them do like a prequel story of how she actually gets the stupid time travel device. She does have some sort of time travel device just to study,
Mhm.
which is really stupid. But
And that's actually one of the things they use in the Prisoner of Azkaban was the
mhm,
I forgot what it's called specifically, but there's something that she had
mhm,
specifically said that she had more time to study.
mhm. Ridiculous. You can use that thing for so many things. And yeah, you could do a prequel of how she steals it, because where else did she get it from? Okay, so you have a heist crime movie about Pokemon and its feminists. Those are
Mm-hmm.
three very unique bit of franchises. Pictures your story, Sheep.
We have 3 girls, each with
Mhm.
feminine Pokemon.
Mhm.
They
Of
use their
course.
their feminine wiles along with the Pokemon have their feminine wiles as well to make them
Mhm.
extra girly. They use that to take advantage of men in power. So they end up trying to use that same trick on Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket. And
Mhm.
it doesn't work out the way that they planned. Giovanni basically waves them off, this, that, and the other. So instead of working together to take him down, they instead decide to peddle feminist platitudes to the masses and eventually convince a mass amount of people to basically denounce Giovanni, tell him he's misogynist and all of this stuff. And eventually, what they do is they wear him down to where he then steps down from his position of power, and they then become the new face of Team Rocket. To where shit just goes bad, obviously, because they're the bestest ever. Um, it's short. It's something
Mhm.
I was just like, all right.
Mhm. I
Let
thinking
me
of any
think.
actors in general,
Rachel Ziegler. We got Rachel Ziegler. We
Mhm.
got
Mhm.
what's the girl's name? Brie Larson
Mhm.
to play the 2 of the girls. I'm gonna get
There's
Lucy
another sort of.
Lawless.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Xena Warrior Princess.
Okay.
Her. We
Mhm.
get those 3 to play the 3 feminine women.
Mhm.
You get
Perfect.
Anthony Hopkins of all people to play Giovanni. I'm fine with that. And then we throw in honestly, I could probably swap out Lucy Lawless for Amber Heard. No, I don't want to give her work. Lucy Lawless, and I'd probably throw in some extra person, probably I don't know,
Mhm.
some extra character if I were to have a jokey. What do you call those characters? Like the effeminate male character, you could say. I'd
Yeah,
probably throw in, yeah, pretty much that. I'd
Michael
throw in a
Cera.
nah. Michael Cera's probably a little bit too Chad. I'd throw in just for the shits and giggles of it. I'd throw in Johnny Depp.
Yeah, sure. Who are you picture it to? I think as Nintendo, because they built like a film studio
Yeah,
with the Mario movie. I guess you're pitching that to them. I think they'd take that.
something like that. Yeah, I
Mhm.
could pitch it to them if I was
Mhm.
I forgot what. Hold on, I actually have the DVD here. Because I know Illumination did
Mhm. Animation
the
itself.
yeah, the animation. So yeah, I guess it was just
Okay.
Nintendo animation. Yeah, I'm pitching it to Nintendo directly. Nice, pay
I'm sure.
me.
Live action or animated? All right,
Oh, you know what? Animated. We do animated. Absolutely. Because Brie Larson
Uh,
had. If that's the case, if we're doing animated, I'm swapping out Lucy Lawless and putting in Megan Fox.
her voice acting would be peak.
Top tier voice acting.
Oh my
Beautiful.
god. Oh, you probably seen the clips, right? Oh, she was.
I want people to not watch it. Then people will
Oh
go
wow.
watch it.
Oh wow. She was. Oh, I
She
don't
was
know
nailing them
what.
voice lines. She knocked it out the park.
I want to know how much they paid her. Like, just because they have like a famous name does not mean they'll do the job well. That's
Precisely.
the lesson learned. And I guess because Megan Fox is little in the head. She has some sort of wedding ring that if she takes it off, it'll cut her.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Her
demented.
and her vampire boyfriend, Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, that's just weird. I don't know. All these new Mortal Kombat games, they're just not
Yeah, I'm
really
good on
worth it.
them.
Yeah. Well, we've got Nathaniel player here. Oh yeah, and Rowling realized how silly that was and wrote it so they all broke all of them in the sequel books. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I need to read up on my Harry Potter. Maybe not too much.
I forgot what the specific name of the watch is, but yeah, no, like when you create something that's as world breaking as that is, you got to have some kind of contingency. And she just wrote that they were all like broken at that point.
Maybe from the movies, from what I remember, maybe it was only used on. Oh, we've got a meme here. Extra zero in there as well.
I support
Very
it.
nice.
I like
I like
Axel
that word
Foley.
shape. Sure. There's a mandatory black character in there, so yeah. Yeah. I guess I kind of look like a cop if you look at it, you know. That stash. Yeah, cheers to A series. But I was gonna say, like, the thing is, I'm pretty sure you could probably work that around that. Maybe you can only use it in the school grounds or something, like the time travel device. I don't know how they did it in the movies. I haven't watched them in a long time. But yeah, just using it to study, very, very stupid idea. Okay, and thank you so much for coming on the show, man. The story segment was good to
Oh, it's funny.
good
I
to
like
do.
it. I like it a
Yeah,
lot.
I tried to come up with like unique stuff you can do on the show. And with that, I guess I'll shill away the memberships. I've just added the J. Jonah Jameson laugh in there, as I've mentioned previously in the show. You can, it is available, and you'll have access to my gaming streams. Hang on, let me show it. There have been, yeah, there we go. Let me just screenshot that to show off the emojis. So yeah, we've got Sean Connery screaming the classic Y. You can never go wrong with that. We've got the J. Jonah Jameson laugh. It is a GIF, so it should move around when you spam it in the chat. And we've got the Justin Bieber lookalike because I do look like Justin Bieber. And we've also got the Polish Eagle. Let me know, guys, if you have any more suggestions for emojis. I like to do them. And yeah, I'll work on getting more gaming streams to the channel. I can't wait to get my grubby little hands on Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I'm very curious as to what that game will entail.
Right.
Sheep, would you like to promote anything? Or tell the people where they can find you and whatnot? I have got your Twitter link in the description below, so you can support him there on Twitter or X. I'm sorry, I can't dead name
On Twix.
that website. I guess it's called that now.
Yeah, I call it Twix.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the only thing I have to shill, because I don't really do YouTube videos. And you can check out my YouTube videos. I haven't done one in months, and I'm planning on leaving it that way for a while. Otherwise, I'm on Locals. That's where I post my manga. The prologue is available right now if people want to go check that out.
Oh, cool.
It's the name of the manga is here, Fandemonium. So I'm not entirely sure if you can just Google it because I'm not that big of like a name yet. But you can go to a city named barnyard.locals.com. I'll just type that in the chat.
Oh, that'll be in the Twitter link as well. I think I saw it in your profile.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like your Locals page. Yeah, I'll be sure to link that in the description as well.
But yeah, I'm working on chapter 1 right now. Chapter 1, ideally, I should have out by the end of this year, but I can't put any promises on that because along with that, Eric is going to be doing, he's going to be looking to do a campaign for Alpha Core as well. So there's going to be Alpha Core. Following up behind that would be Yaira, the release of the Yaira series, and probably some other stuff in the works. So the best I can do is work on the manga in my free time. So I can't make a promise, but I would like to have it out before the end of the year.
Definitely. Yeah, man. I definitely look forward to that because yeah, I recently got myself. I couldn't. I had to buy a used copy of
Mhm.
ISOM 1 because the shipping costs would cost me a fortune. And yeah, I collect stuff like Razor Fist's book. I got Shad's book. So oh yeah, put in a Pale Moonlight. Yeah. So I haven't got Drunk 3POs, but yeah, collecting these things it's definitely worth it because I like to support people.
Right.
People that I really like and they write beautifully. And someday I'd like to release a book of my own. Definitely. Finishing though, that's the trick to it. Actually finishing it. So yeah, I wish you luck, man, with finishing the manga. That sounds fascinating.
Thank you.
I imagine like the art style of it is crazy fun to draw.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna enjoy drawing it. I do want to say that my art style favors a lot of like classic
Mhm.
manga style, so it's not as high detailed as like My Hero Academia,
Mhm.
but it does leave a good impression on people. I would like to think at least.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it, dude. All right. Thank you everyone so much for watching. As always, I'll see you guys next Sunday, and yeah, some more memes on the channel. I'll probably be doing another Marvel's Avengers session after the stream, maybe like 10 or 20 minutes. I'll drink a cup of water, a cig of water for the working man, and get back on that game. I'm nearly done. I think I'm on the final boss fight. I'm just gonna finish the campaign. I'm just all right. I'm dropping you now. I'm making a video, and you've forgotten to time by the 30th of September.
That's the
So
best
yeah,
approach.
yeah, yeah. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I guess I'll see everyone watching in the gaming stream. Yippee. Bye for now.